All right, guys, so let's review the board challenge. So that's what we originally presented you. That's the beginner one. So, first of all, as we did last week, I would like to follow the same approach. I would like first to have a look to the typos, to the syntax errors. Then we can review the elegance warning, the little details, and eventually we can analyze the functionality, the expected behavior of this algorithm. So, who wants to offer the first typo of the function? No, it's not. It's not. Find. It's a reserved word when talking about array methods. But that's not an array method. That's just a function that I'm creating. So I can. Yep. So what do you want me to do here, Maxim? Can anyone help Maxim? Well, that, remove the arrow function, right? That's the first thing. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense when you got a different type of functions, as we've seen this morning. Remember, so when you got an array.find fruit, there it makes sense. But here, because we just got a JavaScript function, a classic function, we cannot use it, right? So that was the first thing. Thank you, Vicky. So anyone apart from Vicky? Any other syntax error? Where? Where parentheses, guys? The inside. So Elia, what is it? What is the inside one? Yep. Here. Parentheses here. I think you're making the problem even worse, guys. So I agree with you. There is a missing parenthesis. Missing parenthesis. But where? After where, Maxim? After where? Sorry. After Apple. After Apple. Here. That's not correct, Maxim. Anyone else can see where the missing parenthesis is? Guys, line number. Line 4. Alright, so where Elijah here? So if it shouldn't be there, where should it be the parenthesis? Alright, so look, guys. Now it's correct. You don't get any error from VS Code. Why that parenthesis was missing? Look, you open the bracket on line number 2 and then you close it on line number 4. Fine. But then look, you see the find? Find is a method in JavaScript arrays, as we know already. So we open the parenthesis, so then we have to close it after we close the curly brace. Yeah? We close the curly brace and then we close the parenthesis. That's the way it works. And now, elegance warnings. So from Airbnb point of view, is there anything not quite correct? Error. So line 3. But wait. We'll talk about that in a minute. So having or not having the return statement is not gonna throw any error. I'm talking about syntax errors. That's correct, Aaron. You need a semicolon after the parenthesis. Cool. Nice one. So, and any other elegance warning? Brilliant. That's correct, Lauren. That's correct. Indentation is wrong. You see, guys, we open the curly brace on the first line, so it should be closed on the very left. If you are not sure about that, remember, VS Code can help you. You do right click anywhere and you select format document, pop, you see, VS Code will choose the right indentation for you. Any other elegance warnings? Wait. We're talking about a few things here. So, first of all, Lawrence suggested there was a missing semicolon in line number 3. That's correct. Semicolon missing on line number 3. That's correct, Lauren. And then, Vicky, what were you saying? Sorry. Why? But once again, guys, I'm not telling whether that's correct or not. I'm telling you that that's not my question. So my question was about purely elegance warnings, about styling issues. So whether the variable names are right or not, that has very little to do with the styling issues. Styling issues is indentation, semicolons, this type of things that that a machine can evaluate. A machine cannot evaluate if fruits is a better name than vegetables, because that's some sort of human thing, right? Okay, so you want to change now the shape of the algorithm. That's a good point, Aaron. Okay, let's have a chat about that, guys. Let's call the function. So console.log find, and then we got apple, and then we got the banana, and then we got the orange. Can anyone tell me what will this algorithm return? So wait a minute. Elena said apple. Vicky, Lauren said apple, and Vicky as well, I believe, right? And all right, and Elena. All right. Who else? Anyone thinks differently? All the same. All right. So there is 1 point for whoever gives me the right answer. It's a very British way to tell you are massively wrong, right? So that's not gonna return apple. That's not gonna return apple. Classic junior developer mistake. Oh, who said undefined? Exactly. You need to give me a meaningful description of your point of view. Yeah. So why? That's correct, Max. That's correct, guys. There is no return statement here. Without any return statement, that's the same as writing nothing. Nothing. There is nothing there, right? So if I run it, I mean, if there is nothing, there is nothing. That's undefined. I can do whatever I want here. Yeah. If I run it again, let me show you. That's undefined, right? Always on every iteration, we need to return something. Yeah. So depending on what do we return, then now, for instance, fruit equal apple, as Lauren, Vicky, and Elena and everyone else said, now it should return apple. But the first thing is, without a return statement, it will return nothing. So return statement should be there, right, all the time. Then let me change the problem a bit. What if we, sorry, I'm giving some points, guys. So, yeah. So can I change? Someone actually was suggesting to move things around. So can I move things like, well, how, like that? Will this work? Why not? Correct. Remember, guys, remember the rule. If you keep the curly brace, then you need a return statement. If you remove the curly brace, then no return statement. And now, will that work? No. Probably it's easy to say no because you get some errors, syntax error around. But why? Can anyone tell me why this code, even though it looks correct, in reality it's not? That's correct. When you use That's correct, Max. That's correct. When you use the inline return statement, you cannot put a semicolon because you cannot put any complex logic. You just return something immediately. That's important. Yeah. Thankfully, if you fail, VS Code will, immediately alert you. Right? Can I put a return statement on the left? No. Yes, we cannot put a return statement because we have removed the curly brace. So remember, either curly brace plus return or nothing at all. And what if I put some parentheses? So is that code correct? So with or without return statement? Yes, correct. VS Code is spoiling the answer a bit. But once again, so either curly brace plus return plus semicolon, or no curly brace, no return, no semicolon. Just parentheses if you want. I mean, parentheses, guys, just for readability. Look. So, I can add as many parentheses as I want, right? That's not going to affect the result. It's a bit stupid. Parentheses never hurt. So the only reason why I put the parentheses is because without the parentheses, technically speaking, that code is correct. If I run it, it works. However, to me, maybe that's a personal feeling, that feels a bit unreadable. I got an argument, I got an arrow function, and then there is nothing. I'm used to have curly braces because it's a function, or if I don't want to have curly braces, then I will have parentheses. It's just a matter of readability. Yeah. So, yeah. That's a good question. I don't know if that's something we could. Not sure if Airbnb has something to say here. I don't know, Max. But Airbnb JavaScript style guide. Not sure if they have any suggestions. So if we search arrow functions, we can figure out. Guys, don't be afraid of saying I don't know. I've seen many developers struggling to say I don't know, right? Like if that was a bad thing. I think it's good to say I don't know, but then you should always say, but let's figure out, right? So arrow function. Let's see what Airbnb says about arrow functions. Yeah, so that's, you see. So first of all, they're telling you use arrow functions. You see, that's what we are doing today, right? You see, that's the long version. Look, that's it. If the function body consists of a single statement, return expression, without blah, blah, omit the braces, that's what we're doing now, and use implicit return. Yes, so that's what we are doing, that's correct. Look, they are using the parentheses, you see? So definitely, I think for readability purposes, it's important to have the parentheses. Once again, it's an optional thing, but I think that helps a bit. Look. That's actually there is guys. There is an explicit point. 8.3. In case the expression spans over multiple lines, wrap it in parentheses for better readability. Boom. That's literally what I was thinking, right? Which is great. So you see. Parentheses on the right hand side. Any other questions, guys? From Airbnb, Elijah, if you search on Google Airbnb JavaScript or JS style guide, you'll find out a very nice document where Airbnb tells you how should you write JavaScript code. Yeah. No. No, actually, they push a lot in the JavaScript scene. They created some nice components for JavaScript. We may talk about some of them in the future. Yeah, but no, definitely Airbnb has a lot of power when talking about JavaScript these days. All right, anything else, guys? That's the first algorithm, right? The beginner one. Let's jump to the intermediate, which was obviously a bit more complicated. So That's a copy and paste of what I originally offered to you. Once again, let's talk about syntax errors. Can anyone see any syntax error here? That's not a syntax error, guys. Remember, syntax error is just things that will make everything to blow up. Indentation won't make everything to blow up, right? That's interesting, Vicky. That's interesting. Dot length. If you want to get the length of a list, so Peter and Mary, if I want to get the size, which is 2, right? I'll write dot length as the syntax. Length is a property, it's not a method. I cannot do that. Yeah, that will blow up everything. Yeah, I think that works on Python, but not on JavaScript. So first thing is, let's get rid of the parentheses there. Nice one, Vicky. What else? Look at what Max is suggesting. Max is right. You see, filter. We've seen filter this morning. We opened the parentheses here, but it was not closed. You see, without the parentheses, where is that parenthesis being closed? Nowhere, because that parenthesis belongs to the join instruction. So we have to close it. Any other syntax errors? Again, guys, a semicolon is not a syntax error. A semicolon is a styling error. Guys, do we need to review what the difference between a syntax error and a styling error? A syntax error is something that will make your app to fail. Yeah, if instead of function I type Ricardo, that's a syntax error because that's not gonna work. Yeah. However, a styling error is not gonna make any difference on the result of the algorithm. If it works, it will work with or without styling errors. Yeah. Styling errors is just about readability. Yeah. So for instance, if I add 27 spaces before the return statement, that's a big styling error. Is that gonna cause the algorithm to perform differently? No. So from the machine point of view, there's gonna be no difference at all. But from a human point of view, there's gonna be a big difference of readability. All right, so yeah, you tell me any styling error, any styling warning if you prefer. No. Yes, styling. Yes, styling. Yeah, unless you know any other syntax error. Line 4, we need a semicolon. That's correct, Elena. That's correct. So the return statement finishes here. So remember, we should add a semicolon to complete that line, to complete that instruction. Nice one, Elena. What else? Any other styling issues? But that's I think that's optional. Do you think, guys? I don't necessarily think that code is wrong because look, we are not going beyond the ruler. You see, I mean, if you want, yeah, I appreciate that. You can do that if you want, Max. That's fine. But I couldn't. I think that's a bit personal in this particular case. We will talk about readability in a second, right? Once again, guys, readability has very little to do with styling. So readability is purely about humans. Readability is to decide whether the variable should be called fruits or Brexit. That's readability. But I hope you agree with me that a computer cannot tell you, hey, Brexit is a bad variable name, right? So that's for humans. Any weird thing? Any? Brilliant. I was wondering if someone will spot that. That's very interesting, guys. That's very interesting. Look, what happened if I do console.log 7 equal 7? What will that return, guys? True or false? True. Let's run it. That's correct, because 7 is equal to 7. And what if I do 7 equal to 8? True or false? False, right? All right, you're right. But now let's talk about the double equals. What 7 equal 7 will return? True or false? True. And 7 equal 7 as a string? True or false? And triple equal? Correct. Correct. Guys, here we have a new job interview question. What's the difference between double equals and versus triple equals? Correct. Correct. Yeah. So that's correct, Maxim. So triple equals, so long story short, triple equals is stricter than double equals, as you've seen here. Yeah, triple equals. So in this comparison, JavaScript return false. However, if you put double equals, it returns true. Yeah, so triple equals is stricter. So if you want an academic description about the difference between double equals and triple equals, it's one of the things that you need to write down somewhere, and you need to be ready to talk about that in a job interview. So double equals, let me remember that. It was a long time since I did the last job interview, but double equals checks the equality of the expressions. However, triple equals checks the identity of the expressions. Regardless of what that means, that's the academic description of the difference between them. Yeah. So if the type don't match, so for instance, here we're comparing a number versus a string, triple equals will return false. Yeah. However, with double equals, it's not that simple, because double equals will perform some sort of typecasting. That's not maybe very precise, but some sort of typecasting. So if both values are somehow the same, after comparing types and after performing some transformations, then it will still return true. So now the question is, which one should we use, double or triple? Say it again, Elena. Fair enough. Yeah. Of course. No. Absolutely. Guys. In some cases, yeah, you can change them. So, for instance, 7 equals 7 returns the same in both cases, right? So, in some occasions, it will work fine, regardless of whether you use double or equals or triple equals. But generally speaking, which one should we use and why? 3 equals. Why? It's more accurate. It's stricter or more strict. I don't know how you say that. Yeah, it's more precise. Yeah, so that's reason number one. Let me give you a second reason that 90% of the developers in the world ignore. And this is one of my favorite ones. Performance. Triple equals is more performant than double equals. Why? Easy. If the types don't match, so on the left hand side you got a number, on the right hand side you got a string. If the type don't match, triple equals gives up. That's it. It's not gonna try to do any magic. Give up. False. However, the double equals, as I said before, will try to run some operations in the background to try to compare, blah blah. So that's not for free. That has a computational cost. So double equals is slower than triple equals. Yeah? Obviously, if we need to compare one or two things, this is not gonna make any impact at all. But it's important to know that technically speaking, triple equals is more performant, because if the types don't match, then it will just return false. So that's correct. And if you want to nail the job interview, let me show you a quote from a very relevant authority in the JavaScript world. Have you heard, guys, about Douglas Crockford? So Douglas Crockford is considered one of the fathers of JavaScript. He's an American, he's an old man with exotic t-shirts. I met him in a JavaScript conference many years ago, and he's definitely a character, right? So he wrote probably the most famous book in JavaScript history. Don't read it because it's very old and out of date, but at that time it was vital. The book was called, does anyone know the name of the book he wrote? JavaScript, The Good Parts. So this is the most famous book about JavaScript ever. Once again, don't buy it, don't read it, because I mean, once you got a really deep understanding about JavaScript, I think it's good because it talks about the fundamentals. So many of the explanations here, the majority of the explanations remain valid today in 2020. However, it's a very intense book. It's a very intense book. So unless you got a really good understanding about JavaScript, I think there are better books. Yeah, and there is a nice joke on the internet. If you search JavaScript versus the good parts, this is some sort of joke. I'll show you a couple of jokes today about JavaScript, but this is one of the most famous ones. I'll show you. Let me zoom it a bit. So let's see if you can see that. You see on the left hand side you got Javas. Oh, what is it? Hello Google. What the hell are you doing? Here you go. So on the left hand side you have JavaScript, and on the right hand side you got the good parts. Like, good parts are just a subset. Yeah, that's a very old joke. But yeah, anyways. So why am I talking about Douglas Crockford? Because on this book he talks about double quotes versus triple quotes. Oh no, sorry, double equals versus triple equals. So Douglas Crockford, double balls. What the hell is that? I don't know. Double equals. Double equals is evil or are evil. There is a very famous work. Yeah, exactly. So he talks. Probably that's a copy paste. Someone copy and paste one of these parts, because I think it's very interesting how explicit, how intense Mr. Crockford is about using double versus triple. Yeah. So he says that the evil twins. So double equals is the evil twins of triple equals. And then you can see some examples. I remember that. So it's actually written in the book about how stupid sometimes double equals is. So this is a good example. Is 0 equal to empty string? According to double equals, it is, right? So yes, don't use it. Long story short. Cool. Any questions, guys? Never, ever use double equals. Cool. So now let's try to understand what is this algorithm doing. So can anyone give me a human description of what this function is doing? Go for it, Elena. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So what's that? So guys, when you got a word like, I don't know, hello. So when you change it, the order of the characters or something like that. So that's the way. That's what this part is doing. You see, fruit. we can talk whether fruit is a good variable name, but let's ignore the semantics. Fruit.split. So if I got hello, can you tell me what's the result of splitting hello with an empty string? Like that? It's a string? Like that? What do you think? And what type of data is that? That's correct, Lauren. That's correct. So split will create an array of individual characters because we are passing and nothing in between. You remember, guys, we talked about that on the last week. And now, what reverse is doing? Changing the order, right? Yeah, it's just flipping the elements of the array. And then what is eventually join doing? What type of data do we get eventually? Yeah, but what was that? It's a number, it's a boolean, what's that? That's a string, that's correct, Maxime. Yeah. So long story short, we are comparing hello against all you, how you pronounce that? Yeah. And if the word hello is the same as the word hello or leak, then we'll keep it because we are using filter. So long story short, what are we checking here, guys? The length of what? Guys, we're checking how many palindromes the list of fruits has. Yeah? A palindrome is a sentence, a word, whatever, that is the same in one way or the other. Do you know an example of a palindrome, guys? Anna, fantastic, brilliant. Why Anna? Because if you flip Anna, what do you get? Anna. That's why it's a palindrome. What else? Say it again. Race car. Oh, that's a nice one. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. Let's present that example. Imagine that I call filter and I pass Anna and race car. What will the algorithm return? Oh, that's interesting. Why one, why two? Exactly. You're absolutely right, Lauren. So eventually it will compare race car against that, right? Are these two strings equivalent? Are they the same? No, because the space is on a different position. So we need to be careful when talking about palindromes. The space matters. Yeah, at least regarding this algorithm. What if I got OO? Will OO be a palindrome? Yes, because there is a space, but then what? It's in the middle. So if you flip the string, the space remains in the same index, in the same position. So back to this example, Anna and race car will return undefined. That's unexpected, guys. Can anyone see why this snippet returns undefined? It's supposed to filter. Do you want to know something, guys? I don't know why it's written undefined. So once again, let's figure it out, guys. Let's figure it out. I'll show you. Imagine that I'm writing this algorithm, and I would expect that function to return number 1. It should return number 1. However, it's not working. Because it's not working, let me try to find out why. Something I would like to do is divide and conquer. Divide and conquer means I'm gonna, for instance, comment out the last part of the exercise. I want to see what filter returns. And filter returns undefined. That's very strange. Is a missing. Yes. Brilliant, Max. I didn't notice that, guys. Max is absolutely right. Look, I did a typo. I'm not running anything. Look, I'm not doing anything here. The thing is, I'm missing a parenthesis. You see, I open the console log. What is the filter? Look, the filter method is not invoked. You see, I'm missing the parentheses all around. That's why it wasn't working. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Max. That was great catch. Yeah. So it was just a silly mistake as usual when writing the filter function. So if I run it again, first of all, filter should return an array with 1 element. Here we go. That looks much better. So now, obviously, if we get the size of that list, that should return 1. So, questions? Why 1? All right, you tell me. How many palindromes our array has? Just 1? Because race car is not a palindrome as such, right? Right? You get more examples of palindromes. Palindromesexamples.com, I'm sure, right? So I'll find out. Just to present some. The name Hannah. Hey. Yeah, that's correct. Also more palindromes. We got noon, for instance. That's a palindrome, right? What else? What else can I give you the feeling I just made that up, but in reality I got Google in front of me trying to solve it, right? So once again, guys, there are many interesting palindromes like a Santa at NASA. But the thing is, that's not going to work because of all the spaces. On the JavaScript intermediate training, you'll find an exercise where you have to deal with that problem. So it's slightly more complicated. That's pretty much the same. However, you should remove the spaces before you check whether the word is a palindrome or not, right? So if I so can you tell me what will be the result of running this function? Why 3 and not 4? That's correct. So wow is not the same as wow with the capital on the other way around, right? So that should return 3. And can anyone tell me how can I ignore the case? Imagine that based on my standards, I want wow to be considered as a palindrome as well. What will you need to change? Where? Fruit dot to lowercase, like that. On the right hand side, would that work? So Aaron, do you think that would return 4? No, not maybe. That's not right. That won't return 4 yet. Can anyone see where the problem is? That's correct. What Aaron is comparing was wow with capital W at the end versus wow. You see the problem? So what Elena suggested is to normalize both expression, convert everything to lowercase. Yeah. So then we know that we are all the time playing with small letters. Yeah. And then it works. Now exactly. If you leave it in one side, it won't work neither, because on one side now we're comparing wow against wow with the first capital W. So that should return 3. Here you go. You see? So you need to normalize everything in both sides. Will it work? Will it work if I change everything to uppercase instead of to lowercase? Yeah, it's the same thing, right? I can transform everything to big letters if you want. It looks like you are yelling now, but you see, it still works. So, to me, that's pretty much it. However, that expression is overcomplicated. It is more difficult to understand that bit than everything else. Because of that, whenever you deal with a complex expression, like the one I'm highlighting on my screen, let me show you a way to improve it. Let's create a function to deal with the problem. I'm going to create a function called isPalindrome. So the function will receive a string, and then it will run everything there. Yeah, obviously let me rename fruit. You see? So now I'm delegating the responsibility of running this complex expression into a new function. You see? I'm putting my sockets into a box. I'm just tidying up my room, right? So can anyone tell me how to complete the exercise? What do you think, guys? Yeah, I agree. I agree with you guys. Lauren is right once again. Look, still works. Do you agree with me that now that piece of code is way more readable? Because look, it's giving better feedback to the developer. What do you want to do? I want to filter the palindromes, and I want to get the length of that list. That's it. If you want to get the implementation details, then you can pay attention to that function, whatever that means. Yeah. Let's improve the semantics a bit more, guys. Will it work if instead of, we're not even talking about fruits, right? We're talking about whatever you want. So can we change the semantics to something a bit more generic, like I have no idea personally, but items, word. But the thing is, okay, fair enough. But if you got something like OYO, that's not a word. That's a sentence. Well, not sure if that makes sense. On, why, no, right? Whatever. That's a palindrome, according to this algorithm. That's not a word. So, yeah, if you don't want to be that picky, that's fine. You can call it word. But I would personally try to be a bit more generic, because that algorithm will work not just with individual words, but also with simple sentences, potentially. But anyways, if you call it word, fine. Better than fruit and fruits, right? Because what's the point of calling that fruits? So can you tell me, if I call it items, can you tell me a good name to replace fruit? Item in singular, fantastic, yes, because we have a list of items, and then we want to filter each individual item depending on whether it's a palindrome or not. And one more thing, the isPalindrome method, it's still a bit too complicated to me. So let me create some variables. I'm going to create a variable. You know, you can create a variable type in let. So let me create a variable called normalized string. So I'm going to create a variable to transform my string to lowercase. And then I'm going to create another variable called reverse string. It will be normalized string dot split dot reverse dot join. The point of creating a new variable is readability. Yeah, you got a string and you got another string. Yeah, the reverse version. So now, can anyone tell me how can I complete the exercise? Return what? Reverse string to uppercase. Anyone can help, Elena? Like that? All right. So interesting. If I wait a minute. If I got Anna and Peter, what will this algorithm? What should this algorithm return? It should return 1, right? However, look at the output. Ah, why 2? Can anyone tell me why the bloody hell this algorithm returns 2? That's correct, Lauren. That's correct. Guys, we are not comparing if the string is the same as the reverse version. We're not comparing. We just return a string. It's the same as returning hello. Yeah, we're returning a string. A string is considered something truthy in JavaScript. You'll hear a lot about truthy versus falsy values. In other words, whenever you return a truthy value, filter will keep that element. If you return a falsy value, filter will discard, will ignore that element. Yeah, because we are returning the reverse string, whatever the reverse string, that's a string. Yeah, hello, whatever. That's a truthy value, and then it will be included. It will be respected by filter. So, as Lauren suggested, we have obviously to compare the original string versus the reverse version. And if we do that, then it returns 1. Do we need to transform the reverse string to uppercase? Yes? No? All right, let's try that. If I try Anna with capital A at the beginning, we need to do it. In other words, that's not gonna work. So Elena, so you think that will return what? 0. What do you think, guys? Do you agree or disagree with Elena? Oh, why 1, Maxim? All right, so Elena and Maxim, 0. Who else? Lauren is right, guys. Look, here we have already transformed the word Anna into Anna. Yeah, we've done that already. Oh, no, sorry, that's uppercase, not lowercase. Ignore me. Yeah, doesn't really matter. Yeah, we have normalized the string. So then look, on the next line, we take Anna, we split it into an array of A, N, and A, and eventually we reverse it, which is the same A and A, and we join it, getting a string with Anna again. Yeah? So we don't need to transform it to uppercase. Will it? I mean, let's prove it. Let's prove that lowering is right. So if we run it, that should return 1. Here you go. Will it hurt? I mean, will it make any difference if I do it again? No? Yeah, exactly. So you can transform to big characters or to small letters as many times as you want, right? So this is not going to make any impact. That will still return 1. To me, that's a bit stupid, right? I mean, the word is already in capital, so why the hell you want to do it again? So that's unnecessary. Yeah? Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Cool. What else, guys? Questions? What will happen if I return true? What will that return? 2. Why 2? Maxim? Or anyone else? That's a different idea? Different opinion? Aaron? Why 1? All right, guys, let me simplify the problem. I'm not even gonna use the isPalindrome function. That's equivalent, right? So, remember, filter sets a condition. If the condition is satisfied, that means the condition returns true, then the element will be kept, right? If we hard code the condition to true, or true equal true, that's the same, right? Then what happened? We keep everything exactly. So that filter is stupid, right? It's not doing anything. But technically speaking, you can do that if you want, and that will return true, obviously. Yeah. So that will return true because we are not gonna discard any element. And what if we put false? What will that return? Why 0? Why 0, Elena? That's correct. That's correct. And what if I put here Elena? Why? That's correct. Let's get rid of the length because the length is masking the result a bit. So let's just return the items. So can you tell me, Elena, what will this algorithm output at the bottom of my screen? What do you think, guys? Yeah, so you are right. You are right, Elena. That will return an array with Anna and Peter, as you can see on my screen. Why is that? Because we return something truthy. Yeah? I can pass a number. Yeah, 1 million, whatever. A number is something truthy. Yeah? And because of that, then it's not going to filter anything. That's stupid. What if I add as a condition 6 == 7? What's going to be the eventual output? False. That's interesting. So Maxim said that will return false. What do you think, guys? Elena said enter array. What did they say this morning, guys? What is filter returning? It's always an array. It could be an array with 1 element, 3 elements, no elements, 1 million element. I don't care. But it's never going to be false. It's never going to be true. It's never going to be an object. It's never going to be undefined. It's going to be always an array. Yeah. In this particular case, is any item satisfying that condition? No. false, 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 false. So then we got an empty array. Yeah. And what if we got item equal Peter? What will that return? So Maxim said an array with Peter. What do you think, guys? Yeah, that's correct. Why in this case we got a single element? Because only one element in the list satisfies the condition. Does it make sense? Yeah? Cool. So that's why, back to the original shape of the problem, that's why when you did return normalize a string, back again, what will that return? So then what's going to be the output of this algorithm? Anna and Peter. Yeah, an array with Anna and Peter. With, yeah, as it is, right? That's correct. That's correct because we are returning a string. Could be whatever. Could be Anna. Could be Peter. Could be Brexit. I don't care. The string as such is evaluated as something truthy. Because of that, filter is actually not running any operation. However, if we fix the problem by comparing normalized string equal reverse string, then that will actually work. It will keep only the values, only the items that are palindromes, as you can see here. Yeah. And from my side, just one more thing. I'm not a big fan of the semantics of the problem. Sometimes I call it a string, sometimes I call it item. Guys, simplify everything as much as possible. Look, I'm going to call it strings, and then I'm going to call it string. You see? So now I'm simplifying my semantics. I got a single way of describing my stuff, my data. Strings is the list, and string is each individual element in that particular list. Anything else, guys? Yeah, go for it. That's a great question. That's a great question. I have some bad news for you, Elena. I don't want to answer that question now because on Monday, 25th of May, we're gonna run a workshop to talk about that. So is an empty string truthy or falsy? Is 0 truthy or falsy? Is an empty array truthy or falsy? Is an empty object truthy or falsy? All these things, yeah? I don't want to spoil that, but if you are curious, you can do that. Any betting, guys? What do you think? I'm gonna run it. And we'll leave it here. Empty string is falsy. So if I run it, I'm sorry to disappoint you all. An empty string is falsy. Yeah, and then you can check: is one truthy or falsy? That's correct. It's truthy. And -1. Truthy, you're right. And what about 0? I'm not gonna solve it, so you got some side tasks for the rest of the day. Cool, guys. Let me know if you need any help on Slack. Thank you.